Hello and welcome to Workstyle Stories, because life changes and every life is different. Work needs to respect that. Workstyle does. This week we're talking all things breast cancer, children and work with Lizzie Penny. So Lizzie, welcome to the first Workstyle Stories session.
Alex.
Let me begin. I obviously know you very well indeed, having worked together for a long time, but just for the purposes of those who don't, tell us very briefly who you are and where you come from.
So I am Alex's co-founder of Hoxby, and also probably co-founder of the Workstyle movement, I think it would be fair to say, or the Workstyle revolution as we talk about it. And so I have worked completely flexibly for the last 5 years in my own Workstyle.
And where do you live? Who do you live with?
I live in Bristol in the UK with my husband Nick and my 3 children, Finn, Zoe and Megan.
And briefly, your kind of career history to this point, what were you doing?
Well, I spent a long time messing around trying different things across accountancy, sales, marketing. Then I went to work at Diageo, which was awesome, managing some brilliant global brands. And then I left to start my own marketing agency, working with Alex. We tried something a bit traditional, and then after 5 years, we turned it all on its head and we started Hoxby. And we've never looked back. It's been amazing.
Absolutely. So throughout that kind of career to date, what sort of changed in terms of the way you work? So your work style, where was it at the beginning and kind of where is it now?
I think, when I worked for Diageo and before that I worked for Mars and Arthur Andersen, I worked very traditionally. I went to an office. I worked 9 to 5 or 8 to 8, more likely. And I was relatively traditional. When I left Diageo, I did so because I wanted to work flexibly around a family. I hadn't had a family at that point, but that was really my burning platform for doing that. And yet what I did was co-found something that was quite traditional. And actually then when I had a family, what I found was it was hard to at that point change and not to feel like an outsider, not to feel like the part-timer who missed all the important meetings and seeing the final of the foosball competition and stuff. So.
Yeah, and that's what obviously led you to me and to creating the Workstyle revolution. And since then, obviously, we've worked entirely to our own schedules, our own work style. But something else is happening now in your life that's forcing you to kind of reappraise your work style, to change it again, which is not an unusual thing. But let's talk about that. So what's happening right now and how's it going to impact your work style?
A couple of weeks ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, which came as a complete shock, and which has kind of turned my whole world on its head. I think it's, at the moment, I'm still adjusting to that. I think you're still adjusting to it as well, aren't you, Alex?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Yeah.
It's something that you think happens to other people, and some people are those other people. And as it turns out, I'm one of them. And I think it's made me, yet again, reevaluate everything about the way I work. It's reminded me that I am so passionate about what I do and why I'm here. And it's also inspired me by all the people, particularly at Hoxby, that have been working through much tougher situations than the one I find myself in now for a long time, and managing to balance that through Workstyle and feel happier and more fulfilled, which is what we're all about. And I think it's also, yet again, making me want to change my work style so that it suits the situation that I'm going through, with needing to have surgery and then the treatment that will need to follow that. So I think, mixed emotions. I feel, somebody messaged me saying it's like a tumble dryer full of emotions, and I do feel like that at the moment. But I think it's basically one of those situations where I'm reminded that it's so important that we created this opportunity for people to fit their work around their lives, because I've been doing that with children for the last 5 years since we started Hoxby, but now it's just another factor of my life. And I don't want cancer to define me. I don't want that to be the thing that people look at me and think she's the one with cancer. I look in the mirror, I don't think I look like I've got cancer. Do you think I look like I've got cancer?
No, you look to me like someone who's got kids, and frankly, if you can overcome, you know, the challenge of, you know, maintaining a successful professional career and being a fantastic mum, you can definitely kick cancer's butt. And I know that I say that on behalf of everybody at Hoxby and the broader Workstyle revolution. We are, you know, obviously right behind you, Lizzie, every step of the way. And I think the really inspiring thing about the way that you talk about this is, you know, life is so unpredictable, life changes. We knew that at the start, and work needs to respect that, which I don't think it would have been able to do for you 5 or 10 years ago. And I think we always say how lucky we are to work this way and how grateful we are to the community that makes it possible. But never more so than now. And so we don't really know how you would have dealt with this 5 or 10 years ago, life pre-Workstyle. Yeah. But let's talk about how you're going to handle it now. So what's going to change for you on a day-to-day level? What are you going to do differently?
So I should probably say that already my Workstyle story is that I work where and when I choose. It's what Workstyle is all about. And before now, Alex and I have said that if the joint CEOs can do it, anyone can do it. And the thing that I'll be changing is that where before I've had a routine, and people with kids will know that a routine is valuable. But I've also only had childcare because Zoe and Megan are twins and they're 3.5. I've only had childcare certain days of the week. So before now I've worked 3 days a week and 3 evenings a week. Now I'm moving to the most extreme Workstyle. I've said that before. Alex says it's not extreme. It's just another Workstyle.
It's just Workstyle.
It's just Workstyle. So my Workstyle is going to be opt-in, entirely asynchronous. So just based on Slack. I won't be having any meetings or calls. And it will be working on the days when I feel not only well enough to work, but also on the days when I feel like work is valuable to me and helps my mental health. Because again, it's something that we've talked about a lot, Alex. Like I am so passionate about what I do, and never more so than now. Like this is, if anything, just throwing the light on how important it is that we're doing the thing that we're doing. And for me, it's a form of distraction, but it's also, we want to make this our legacy. We've always said that. And this has focused the mind a little bit on wanting to maybe accelerate that, because if this is our life's work, then there's nothing like potentially having that life cut a little bit shorter than you thought to make you want to really make the impact on the world. So for me, being able to work, being able to continue to work is really important to me, to be able to do that, but being able to do it on my terms is where it's most valuable.
I think it's, I mean, you know, I'm inspired by you every day, but I think for a lot of people, the idea that, well, no, but the idea that work can contribute positively to your mental health, I think is something that most people wouldn't necessarily believe in, primarily because they are, you know, work is a place you go, and it's something that takes you away from the other stuff you might otherwise want to do, rather than necessarily thinking of it as a thing that gives you energy, a sense of fulfillment and a sense of purpose, which you do. And you talk very well about that, and I find it really inspiring to flip that perception of work, especially under the circumstances, into something that can give you a meaningful distraction, a positive focus for your mind and for your energy, which I think is amazing. But that actually, in the traditional work environment, you might not have been able to do that. Like, not because the company would have said, right, you just need to go off and be, you know, on your own and cope with it outside of the work environment, but that because culturally, I don't think people would have accepted that you would want to keep working through this to any degree.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people just wouldn't want to. I can see how, with everything that's going on, like I'm very lucky to not know anything about cancer till now. I've been learning a whole new subject. I can see a lot of people would just think, I just haven't got the headspace for work. That is just not something I've got the headspace for right now. Whereas for me, work plays just a very different role. And also at Hoxby, what we've created is somewhere where you are your whole self. You know,
Yes.
when you and I told the Hoxbys this news, I don't think I find it hard to believe that in any other business in the world there would have been more of an outpouring of support than we've seen. So it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And it shows that this is about people having an appreciation for life and work really fitting around that. And, you know, that's, you know, I just think that's a testament to why everyone should work this way, because work can be a powerful part of your life when you want it to be. So
I couldn't agree more. And as I said before, everybody at Hoxby and everybody who's watching this is fully supportive of you and kind of rooting for you, literally.
I just don't feel worthy of that. I mean, look at me. I just feel normal.
Wherever we
I just don't feel worthy of all this incredible support.
There's a lot of love, and I think we are just very grateful to you for sharing your story now, because I think also that's really important. One of the things that you said you want to get out of, you know, the next few months while you go through the process of managing your care is that you want people to share their stories and for us to talk openly about Workstyle and its importance, which I think is brilliant. And we will do that. And I'm sure you will tune into the episodes when they go live on LinkedIn.
I'll be watching.
I'm sure that will be fun for you to do. But in the meantime, let me just say that we all wish you well, and we want you back and fighting fit as soon as possible. And we'll get back to doing some Workstyle freestyles when you're a little bit more available. But for now, thank you, Lizzie, for today and for everything. And
I will miss everyone. I will be here behind the scenes. Workstyle freestyling with Alex. I just won't be on camera for a little while, but I will be back.
You sure will. You sure will. And we can't wait for that. Thank you very much, Lizzie. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you for the next Alex story soon. Bye for now.